Good day all. Today we'll be looking at bisection method. Now question says find a root of f of x equal to x cubed minus x minus 2 in the interval of 1, 2 with tolerance factor equal to 0.01 using bisection method. Now the only new thing here is just this tolerance factor. The other steps will still remain the same. But for us to understand what this tolerance factor means, this simply means that if you are getting a value, it should be minus or plus 0.01 ahead of the previous answer gotten. You know, in bisection, let's say this is where your root is and you're giving here and here. So you divide this and place into 2, you divide them into 2. Let's say this thing is here. When you get this place, you divide here into 2. That's how you keep on doing. You divide here into 2. That's how you keep on doing. Then you divide it into 2. That's it. That's bisection method for you. You keep dividing till you get the value that you are looking for. So that's how we keep dividing till we get our answer. Now the idea here is that the idea behind this or what we are telling you using this tolerance factor is that if you have gotten either this or this, let this value be minus 0.01 away from this value, and this one plus 0.01 away from this value. So that's what the tolerance factor is all about. So you will keep dividing because if we keep dividing, we get a lot of divisions and many decimal places. So in order to kind of keep us in check, let us know is it a particular limit. This is what is demanded from us. So we'll see that as we solve this. Now for our question, making a rough sketch, here being your y, here being your what? X. Now our focus is to find x when what? Y is what? 0. So this is our focus. Now we'll ask ourselves, what is y when x is what? 1? Since they have told us that they are sure that one of the root lies in between this interval, let us find what the value of y is within those intervals. So for taking 1 first, we have that what? Y is equal to, this will be 1 cube minus 1 minus 2. This will give us what? Minus 2. Then we'll come to our graph and we'll say when x is what? 1. Let's call here 1. And y is what will be then with what? Minus 2. So I've gotten 1 point. Now when x is what? 2, what will y be? We have 2 cube minus 2 minus 2. Remember, any place you see x, you impute what? 2 to get your what? Y value. Now doing that here, you'll be having this will give us minus 4. 8 minus 4 will be giving us what? 4. Now we'll come over here and say 1, 2, 3, and what? 4. So when x is what? 2, y is what? 4. So we have gotten 2 dots and we join them to what? Together. Now, since we have, remember this is where our focus is to get this value. Now, we then ask ourselves what lies in between 1 and 2. We then say in between 1 and 2, you have 1 plus 2 divided by what? 2. This is what? 3 over 2, which gives us what? 1.5. Which gives us what? 1.5. So we then ask ourselves, what is y then? If x is now what? 1.5. Then we have y is equal to 1.5 all cube minus 1.5 minus what? 2. And when you do this with a calculator, you'll be having your answer to be what? Minus 0.125. Now, remember our focus is to get x when y is what? 0. Now we have gotten x where y is what? Minus 0.125. So making our diagram a bit broader, we will have, so this is a rough sketch. So as you can see, my line is not actually straight, which is so actually supposed to be, but since the rough sketch, we're just going to be using that. So we can see now that when x is what? Remember, here is your x and here is your what? Y. Now when x is what? 1.5, your y is what? Minus 0.125. So we have plotted that. So as you can see now, we can now see that we are now having a new interval. We're no longer going to be using 1 again, but what? 1.5 and what? 2. Because definitely our root falls in between them somewhere. So we'll keep working with that. So we'll say that our new interval is now what? 1.5 and what? 2. Now in between the two of them, we have 1.5 plus 2 over 2. This will give us what? 1.7 what? 5. So in between our 1.5 and our distance, we have what? 1.75. Now what is the y value of, what is going to be y when x is what? 1.75. Now our y will be 1.75 cube minus 1.75 minus 2. Now we'll be having 1.609, let's approximate to 4. This is what we'll be having. So approximately this is 1.6. So we'll go to our graph. Let's say here's our 1.6. We'll trace it to our graph. So we have gotten another point. Now we're going to be using this new interval I'm no longer going to be using 2. I'm no longer going to be using 2 and 1.5, but I'm going to be using what? 1.5 and what? 1.75. 1.5 and 1.75. So that will be our new interval, because these are the values where our root will fall under. So we're using 1.5 and 1.75. This is the interval that our value of x when y is 0 will definitely fall under. So I'm finding the midpoint. We have our midpoint to be 1.5 plus 1.75 over what? 2. Now the midpoint of that will be 1.5 we'll be having 1.625. 1.625. So in between this and this we have a value. The value is what? 1.625 in between them. Now what is the value of y when x is what? 1.625. Then we will say 1.625 cube minus 1.625 minus 2. Now with the calculator, remember this is the value of your what? Your y. So with the calculator, we have our answer to be 0.666. So this is our value of what? Y. Now we will then ask ourselves, so with our graph we then say where is what? 0.666. That will definitely fall within this place. So here is our 0.6, let's say 67. Now so again we're going to be dividing in between this 1.65 and what? 1.5. We will now be focusing on that new interval. Our new interval will now be what? 1.5 and what? 1 6, okay, 1.625. So let's broaden the diagram. So I've succeeded in increasing it a bit. So this is now our new interval between, so this is where our root lies in between 1.5 and 1.162. Now ask yourself, what lies in between 1. What lies in between 1.5 and what? 1.625. Now with a calculator, you have 1.5 plus 1. we have 1.562 what 5. That's what lies in between the two of them. So that value will be 1.5625. Now we should also have our tolerance factor in mind. Remember, we want a value that we will get that the intervals, the difference between the interval should be what? 0.02. So looking at this interval, let's first of all check if we are close to our answer. The difference between that interval will be having 1.625 minus 1.5. We'll be having that our difference is still far. Our difference is 0.125. When you subtract this from this is what you have. So we still have to keep dividing this stuff to get to a level where the difference between the two interval is 0.02. You'll be asking, why is it 0.02? This tolerance factor means that if this is your root you're looking for, the value before it should be minus 0.1, and this one should be what? Plus 0.1 of this particular value. So if here is what? A, here should be A minus 0.1, sorry, 0.1, not 0.1, 0.01, 0.01, and here should be A plus 0.01. And when you find the distance between this minus A minus 0.01 and A plus 0.01, the distance between the two of them is 0.02. So each of your interval, when you subtract them, each time you get an interval, when you subtract them, you should be giving something close to 0.02. So we'll keep on doing until we get something close to that. Now, with our midpoint gotten, we can now ask ourselves, what is the value of y when x is now 1.5625? Then we have our y is 1.5625 cube minus 1.562 minus 2. Now you have 1.5625 cube minus 1.562 minus 2, and this will give us what? 0.25, let's say 2. So approximately 0.25, which will definitely be between this place, 0.20 5. So if we are to trace it, so we still have to find our new interval will now be in between what? 1.5 and what? 1.562. Now the difference between this our two new this thing is what? Remember, this minus this. We are having 0.06. So we are close. This is the approximate value. So we are close. So in between these two, we have our middle points to be 1.5 plus 1.565 over what? 2. Now 1. we are having 1.531, let's say 531, approximately 531. So in between this should lie our 1.531. Now we'll ask ourselves, what is the value of y when x is 1.531? Now I think I should complete this. This is 153125. Let us keep this intact first so we can get our tolerance factor quicker. So this, we have y minus 1.53125, or what, cube, minus 1.53125 minus 2. Remember, all this is from this formula. So instead of you to be already typing these 4 decimal place digits each time, you can simply click on the answer key on your calculator, since you have already solved this with a calculator to get this answer. So it's already stored in your calculator as an answer. So instead of you to keep typing this or on and on again, you can simply just say answer, which is what you got from this one, cube, minus answer minus 2. So this will kind of hasten your work. And when you do that, you have that the value of your y is approximately 0.5, okay, sorry, 0.0591. So that is approximately close to here, 0.06 approximately, 0.06 approximately. So that is the value of our distance. So our diagram is a bit wrong. It's meant to be that if here is our 1531, this is where our root is meant to fall in between. Because we are meant to make sure that one of the value is positive, one of the values was negative, one of the interval value of y should be positive, and one of the interval value of y should be negative. So we keep having 1.5 here because 1.5 is still was negative. If you get another negative answer that is close to 0, we will change 1.5. But so far we have been getting only positive answers. So what we have been changing is just the positive intervals. So now our new interval is now going to be 1.5, which is the one with the negative part, and what, 1.53125. Now we then ask ourselves if this is up to our tolerance value. Our tolerance value said it is what, 0.01, but we'll be using what, 0.02. So we're asking ourselves, this simplify means that what, if, let's call here A and call here B, if B minus A is equal to what, 0.02, we can also say 2 times 0.01. That's what we are trying to get using this. So in the new interval we have got to now, we'll be doing that. This is also something as what? 0.02. So it's either you use this or that. Now we will then say 1.53125 minus 1.5, and we are having approximately 0.03. So we are not there yet. We are not there yet. Let's try one more time. Let's try one more time. So now we will then ask ourselves, what is the value of we will ask ourselves what is in between these two values. Wow, our diagram is getting a bit decent. Let me broaden it again. So I've succeeded in broadening it. So this is the disadvantage of always sketching it while though it has a kind of, it makes you skip a particular step when you are not visualizing it. There's a particular step that you can also take that won't require you editing your diagram, maybe broadening it and the rest of them. Because if this was to keep reducing, that's how I'll keep on editing our drawing, so that it will be making more emphasis on that space in between. So now you can see now I've reduced the thing. Now this is where our 1.5 now is. So I've kind of expanded the distance between 1.5 and 1.65, or even from 1.5 to 1.2. You can see, you can't even see 2. So that's how you keep editing. So that's just the disadvantage with this. The editing part might look a bit too distant, sometimes it might even get too confusing. The other alternative way, if you don't want to be drawing the diagram, the alternative way is to multiply your your f of, let's say here's our a and here's our b. Yeah. Now if we are to find a midpoint, we'll call our midpoint what? C. We'll get that now. We'll call our midpoint now C. Or we can, okay, first of all, let me get it so I'll explain that. So in between this, we have that what our midpoint to be what? 1.5 plus 1.53125 over what? 2. So we're having 1.515625. So this is our C now. This is our word C. So in case if you don't want to be drawing this, what you simply do is you ask yourself, what is f of what? A. And we have gotten that earlier. We have gotten what f of a is, which is what? Minus 0.25. So we can come here and say 0.25. Ask yourself, what is f of what? B. What is f of b? Our b here is what? This is what? Approximately 0.06. Now our f of c is what? You have to find that. We have not gotten that. So whatever value you get here, this is minus, remember. So whatever value you get here, you multiply this times, so this times this, and this times this, this, this. So any of them that gives you negative value, or a value that is less than 0, that is the one you'll be using as your interval. So if we are to multiply this and this, and it gives us a negative value, our new interval will then be a and what? C. But if we are to multiply f of b and f of c, and our product is giving us a negative value, our new interval will then be B and what? Will then be C and B, because C is in between A and B. So then be C and what? B. Then be what? C and B. But I'm not using that method. But when it gives you a positive number, neglect that one. Don't use that one. So I'm not using that method because I'm already visualizing what I'm doing. But in a case where you don't have chance to visualize, that is actually a very good way. So maybe I'll make a little example with that method while we continue. So let's say let's find our y when x is 1.51562 Now our y 1.51565 cube minus 1.51565 minus 2. Remember, you don't start typing all these 6 digits. You can simply just say answer cube minus answer minus 2. Bring down your cursor. Answer minus what? 2. Then you'll be having what? Approximately minus 0.034. Approximately 0 points. So that will then fall under here. This is going to be what? For our, this value will have to be our 1.516. That's going to be where to lie. And they say that is y corresponding value is what? 0.034. So we're going to be changing what? 1.5. So our new interval now will be what? 1.515625 and what? 1.5315. So the reason why we change 1.5 now is because we have gotten a negative what value. So now using that other method that you can use when you're not visualizing this, what you simply say is f of a, which we said is this is our b and this is our c. F of a we say is what? 1.5 we say is what? 0. Minus 0.12, no 0 points, minus 125, 0.125. Now f of b is what? This is our b, so f of b is approximately 0.06. Now f of c, which is what we just did now, taking this to be our c, f of c, we got what? Minus 0.034. You see, if these two multiply, they will definitely give you what? A positive value. That means we won't be using them. But if these two multiply, they'll be giving us a what? A negative value. That is the reason why we're going to be using C and what? B as our what? New interval. So I hope this has made it a bit clear. So now with our new interval, let us also check whether it has gotten to our tolerance points. So we'll be subtracting the two. We have 1.53125 minus 1.515625. And we have our answer to be approximately what? 0.02. So this is the new interval, the last interval we're going to be making use of. So we then ask ourselves, what is in between what? These two intervals? We have 1.515625 plus 1.53125 over what? 2. Now this will give us what? 1.52, let's say 234,375. So this is the final answer we are going to be stopping, because of what we have gotten that tolerance factor that we are looking for. I've gotten that tolerance factor that we're looking for, so we'll be stopping here. So this is the approximate value of x when y is what? 0. So now you can even go further to ask yourself now, when x is this, what will y then be? With the calculator you can do that, but that's not to, we're not trying to do that to continue the steps, because if we continue, we keep on getting more divisions, and it won't even stop. We might even sleep here. But we also want to do that to just check how close our y value is now to 0. So doing that, we will have, let's say, answer cube minus answer minus 2. So we are having approximately what? 0.01 something. So as you can see, this is, if I to approximate this to one decimal place, this is approximately what? 0. So this is our final answer. This is where we'll be stopping. So that's all for this video. Please subscribe to the channel and drop your questions in the comments. I can answer them or make emphasis on them in the next video. Thank you and God bless you. Goodbye.